This is the sound of your ride home with Dad after he caught you vaping. Awkward, isn't it? Most vapes contain seriously addictive levels of nicotine and disappointment. Know the real cost of vapes. Brought to you by the FDA.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All2ReelToo. My name is Michael Cullen II, and with me, as always, is
Sesame, Claw, and Carta.
Claw and Carta. Mr. Claw. Why did you choose that name?
Because I had this weird thing where I got scratched by like an animal's claw and something like that. I was on the ground and I picked it up and I accidentally cut myself because I was being stupid with it, wasn't paying attention. And now I got this weird like patch of like fur on my back. It's like a gray skin, and I think I've got to go see the doctor. I mean, I'm feeling kind of weird and almost like I want to like do like bad things for no particular reasons. I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm also sweating a lot too, so I don't know. Something's going on.
Are you going to be able to make it through the podcast?
I hope so. I think I'll be all right.
Okay, because I'm just making sure, because I mean I've heard about like the latest strain of COVID, and I don't know if that's that or what.
I mean, maybe. Yeah, I could have got COVID for the claw. I don't.
The claw. It's Clavid, not COVID.
Claw. Yeah. Yes.
Oh boy. So today on the show, folks, we're covering another 70s horror film. This one entitled "The Blood on Satan's Claw."
Yeah.
Also known as Satan's Skin,
which is more accurate description of what the movie actually is. Yeah.
Yes. Satan's Skin sounds like a death metal band.
It does. No.
But the Blood on Satan's Claw sounds more like a like an emo or screamo band.
Yeah, a little bit. It does. Yeah. It's just like it's too much of a.
It's like My Chemical Romance or something. I don't know. It's kind of
It doesn't really sound like a death metal band or like a black metal, not a black Nazi metal band like like African American, like a black metal like Norway band. Not that kind of black.
Maybe Mark Robinson from North Carolina should open up start a black metal band.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
God. Anyways, so hopefully he'll be old news by the time this episode airs.
It probably will be.
Yeah. Anyways, this film, according to the Internet Movie Database, the plot is: in early 18th century England, the children of a village slowly convert into a coven of devil worshippers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the plot, according to the Internet Movie Database. It's the summary.
I guess it is, but I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens in between that. But yeah, sure.
I mean, there's also another description here. So the one said 18th century. This one says 17th century. So I think it was the 1700s. So, or maybe it was the 1600s. I don't know.
I mean, I don't
Let's
I don't know much about the era. Yeah.
Let's see. Wikipedia says 18th century, so I'm going to go with that. So it was the 1700s, because I think it's the early. Okay, because this other description calls it the 17th century, but I'll just change it to the 18th century. It's in the 18th century countryside of England. The landsman Ralph Gower finds a skull with one eye and fur in the field. He summons the local judge to see his finding, but it has disappeared. Meanwhile, the local Peter Edmonton brings his fiancée Rosalind Barton to his aunt's house to marry her the next day. However, during the night, Rosalind becomes insane, and in the morning she is sent to an asylum. And Peter sees a claw that has replaced her hand. Then Peter wakes up with a claw attacking him, and he cuts it out. But he finds that he has hacked down his own hand. The local children have strange behavior under under the command of Angel Blake, and they rape and kill others. In common, they have peculiar fur on their skin. The judge returns from London and concludes that the evil has possessed the children. What will he and his search party do? Okay.
Exactly.
Yes. So this film was directed by Piers Haggard. It was written by Robert Wynne Simmons and Piers Haggard. It stars Patrick Wymark in his last role. He actually died before the movie came out as the judge.
Oh, wow.
Linda Hayden, who is known for being nude in a lot of movies, I guess, in England. I was looking her up, and that's what she's known for, as Angel Blake.
Wow.
Barry Andrews as Ralph Gower, Michele Dotrice as Margaret, Wendy Padbury as Cathy Vespers, Anthony Ainley as Reverend Fallowfield, among others. I'm not going to go into the whole cast, so I just realized, yeah, they're all a bunch of 70s British actors.
Yeah, very, very 70s.
Yeah. So what's your initial reaction to this film?
I liked it, but it could have been better, I think. The premise I liked a lot.
Yeah.
Execution, hit or miss, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel the same. The thing is, it was kind of disjointed, and I kind of see why. Because the film was originally envisioned by the screenwriter as an anthology of 3 loosely connected but separate stories, and he was originally going to set it in the Victorian era.
Okay.
But the production company, Tigan British Film Productions, wanted it to be in the 18th century. He said, Wynne Simmons said that the screenplay was inspired in part by the Manson family and the Mary Bell child murders.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He later elaborated the central theme of the whole film was the stamping out of old religions, not by Christianity, but by an atheistic belief that all sorts of things must be blocked out of the mind. So the judge represents the dogged entitlement, if you like, who is saying, don't let these things lurk in dark corners, bring it out into the open, and then get rid of it. When it becomes a fully fledged cult, it will show itself. So, yeah.
I mean, yeah, at one point he even said,
yeah.
I mean, he didn't say it in those words, but he said something like, we have to let the evil grow to, I guess, know what's really going on, or something along those lines. Before he went back to London, where he, I guess, lives for the most part or something. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, and so they basically, the company eventually said that they needed him to. They specifically asked him. There was a film that came out previously by the company called Witchfinder General, which is another good name for a band.
Oh yeah, totally.
That has elements that were similar to that film, including a book of witches, as well as a sequence of a body in water, to find out if she's a witch and stuff like that. They worked well in the previous film, so they decided that they needed to do that. And I mean, it probably helped with production quality too. I mean, they probably used some of the same locations and stuff, I'm sure. So yeah, now I kind of want to watch Witchfinder General. So sometime.
I've heard of that movie. I never watched it. I think there is a band with that name.
There is?
I think it's like a progressive rock band. I think so.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
I'm not sure. I might have to look it up sometime, but yeah.
Yeah. And people considered like Witchfinder General. I've been reading things about this, like that, and Wicker Man as like this whole like kind of British like horror, resurgence in that time period. So yeah, kind of these folkloric, kind of gothic sort of horror films. Yeah,
they call them like folk horror, I guess, is the genre.
Yeah,
or something along those lines. Wicker Man definitely. I think Wicker Man probably executes the idea a lot better than this movie does. Because in that movie, the whole town is already pagan to begin with. Like, they're not being converted over by some like evil force. Like, they're just pagan by like a pretty much like a generation had become pagan, and then that generation had kids, and then they raised them in paganism. Yeah. So at that point. Those people just grew up with pain. Yeah,
it's generational. Yeah, I want to cover Wicker Man sometime because that's been years since I've seen it. Maybe next Halloween season we'll cover Wicker Man.
Sure, both of them. We could do a double whammy. We could do
we should do both. Add in the Nicolas Cage, the bees. Anyway, so what goes down in the town here in the blood on Satan's claw.
On the blood on Satan's. Well, the description pretty much said most of it, so I would just have to go into the details a little bit. But the dude. Yeah, Mark, I think is his name. Yeah, Mark is tilling the land. He gets this job pretty much every year. He does this.
It's Ralph.
Sorry, never mind. Yeah, Ralph. Every year he gets this job where he tills this land, and then he ends up finding this weird looking skull that looks sort of humanoid, but not completely. He calls it a feet. I'm not really sure what that means. That's what he calls it. And, understandably, he's kind of freaked out about this. So then he goes to talk to the judge, who happens to be in town. And then the judge, doesn't really want to be bothered by it. But Ralph, is persistent. So finally, he's like, okay, just show me, show me where this thing is. And of course, gets there, disappeared, So the judge thinks he's just like seeing things or whatever. But, he does eventually kind of come around, when all these strange things start happening, because Peter, he's staying at Peter's aunt's house, I guess. This guy named Peter lives with his aunt. They never really know what happened to his parents or whatever. That's not part of the movie. And he wants to get married to this farmer's daughter, Ellen, right? Was it Ellen? No, not Ellen.
Her name is Deepadi Babu. That's her name, Deepadi Babu. Rosalind.
That's right, Rosalind. And, his aunt is kind of like a classist, basically, and doesn't think she's worthy, because she doesn't come wealth. They're, a quote-unquote good family, as what they used to call it. And so she lets her stay in the attic as, like, basically a way to, humiliate her, because they're supposed to get married the very next day. So I don't know how fast this relationship was going. If they had just met and decided to get hitched right away or whatnot. And
that's what happened when I was engaged that one time, and then my fiance just started turning into a satanic monster. But it's what happens.
Patch,
yeah. Oh wait, no, that was just the metaphor for what I think happened to her. Anyway, so yeah.
So Ellen, sorry, I got missed. Ellen is actually like a helper for the like a maid, or I'm not really sure what, but someone who's like the help will.
Yes.
She fixes up the attic, to make it livable, and Peter's like, hey, I'll come up here and visit you, because everybody goes to bed around 11 o'clock, so we'll just wait, and I'll come up here, type of thing. But the judge won't go to bed, still talking, so he's kind of like waiting for the judge to like finally leave or whatever. And then the judge says something like, hey, I really used to be in love with your aunt a long time ago. Be careful with women, that kind of, old man type of warning, whatever. Be careful with those lassies, boy, whatever. I don't know.
And then they both sleep until 11:30 and watch Johnny Carson, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then, yeah. And then, So Peter walks up there and he hears screaming because Rosalind had something and was just screaming frantically about whatever scene. And they eventually break down the door because she won't open it. And then it was the aunt went in, and then she like scratched her real hard across the face. Now her aunt has like basically like a poison, I guess, because I guess this devilish stuff also is like infects your blood apparently too or something. I don't know. And so she they sent her, oh man, that scene, just gives me the goose, scary shit, man. So as they're basically like taking her quote to the madhouse, she gives Peter this really seductive but like also really evil stare. Oh my god, it just freaks me out just thinking about it. Like, it was a really good acting, because like I just felt terrified. I thought she was gonna like lunge after him and just like rip his heart out, like, or something like that, because she just looked at him with so much malice. Like, just a good actor, good face acting right there.
She was ready to commit to something, but she ended up being committed.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good one. I like that. She was ready to commit to something, but she got committed. Yeah. And back then, oh my god, asylums back then were probably just
I'm sure they're horrible. I mean,
oh god, I don't even.
They were horrible in the 20th century, let alone the 18th century. So, yeah,
yeah, I don't even want to imagine what I don't even want to research. I mean, I research everything, but I don't want to even look that up because it'd be too disturbing. But, no, it'd just be too much. But it does remind me, though. You talk about 18th century or 1800s and stuff. The history of the word chill pill is actually, I know it's kind of a tangent, but whatever, this is what we do. But the history of the term chill pill actually comes from this where they used to give people like shots of something and they were like really afraid or whatever. They would give people a pill that would like alleviate their anxiety, and it was called the chill, later on the chill pill. And later on they're just like, well, why don't we just put the medicine in these pills? Like, if we're giving someone a pill to calm them down, did they give them a shot? Why don't we just give them the pill? It's like, yeah, you should have thought about that right away, but okay.
What do you mean in the pill? Like, the medicine that they're trying to put in the shot. I gotcha. Now I was confused.
It's something that would calm them down before they gave the shot. Yeah.
So they just putting the instead of injecting, they would put it in a pill form. Gotcha.
They would give a little bit, and then once they got calmed down, then they would give them the shot. Yeah. But later on,
but what I was saying is later on they just decided to give people pills instead of shots. I gotcha.
It's weird. Like, I don't know why they didn't even just begin with that, but I guess better late than never. I don't know. Maybe it was harder to press maybe back then.
Some medicine you can't give in pill form. You have to do it in a shot because it has to go right into the bloodstream. So yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. So
I mean, you can't give like a flu shot or something, in a pill form. I don't think so.
You can't get a flu pill. Can I take my flu pill?
Uh-huh.
My COVID pill?
I mean, maybe people would take them because it's not the jab or whatever they fucking say because they're all fucking conspiracy theorists. Yeah.
Bro. Yeah, like they're like the microchips in the satanic demon fetuses are inside the shot, bro. But I'm gonna let Elon Musk put a huge bolt through my head like freaking Eddie Munster, like, or whatever. It's just like it's like, what the hell? Okay.
Jeez. People are strange when you're strange. Okay, anyway, so
anyway, what goes on now?
So Rosalind is committed. Meanwhile, there are 3 children who find a claw from the deformed body from which the skull came from while playing in a field. So that evening, Mistress Banham disappears. Who was she? I'm trying to remember.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah, she disappears. I'm trying to remember who she was. Yeah, she. Was she the aunt? Maybe.
Oh yeah, the aunt. She got scratched real bad across. No, she disappeared.
Mistress Banham was. I got the summary here, and I was just trying to remember who she was.
No, you're right. Ellen was treating her, but then she left. Okay. Yeah.
So they're like convinced that the house contains the evil. So at night, Peter decides to sneak up to the attic, and then he's attached by a creature with clawed fur who's somehow under the floorboards of the attic. I don't understand that how logic on that works, but
I know. Like, wait, what?
Yeah. So basically he ends up he cuts off his hand his hand turned into a claw, like a furry claw,
He thinks he's cutting a hand off
of somebody else, but it's actually his hand.
Yeah. Wow.
And then when it's cut off, it turns into his regular hand. So yeah. I mean, I have carpal tunnel and I've never had to, I wonder if that's related. Maybe Satan is invading my hand.
Maybe the devil's claw has cut you and then he got you carpal tunnel. Yeah, sure.
That makes sense. So basically, the judge doesn't believe any of this shit yet still, but he's skeptical of things, but he leaves the next day he borrows a book on witchcraft from the doctor.
Right, the doctor.
The doctor has a book on witchcraft. When I'm looking for my primary care physician, I always ask them first. I would be like, "Do you have a book on witchcraft?"
They say yes. Like, okay, good. That's all right.
They always look at me weird first, and they're like, "Of course, we have a book on witchcraft."
Of course. Who doesn't?
Yeah. I mean, that's what you read first day in medical school. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, why do you ask us all the time? Your last doctor told me you'd ask me that.
Exactly. We're in communication with each other, right? We talk to each other about you. So
yes, there's a whole chapter about you in the book of witchcraft. What are you talking about, dumbass?
Yeah.
So he he ends up leaving this guy who's like kind of a slow-witted dude named Middleton in charge of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Mark, he's one of the 3 children who has curly blonde hair and is somehow, the brother of a girl with dark hair, and I don't know. Anyways, so it happens. But yeah, but he's lured out by his classmates who are playing truant. They get him out of there. He's not feeling well. He's basically got the fur on his stomach
somehow.
Yeah. I always check to see if I do every time I shower. I have yet to grow the fur on my stomach. So
how does that happen though? Do you have to touch the claw to get the fur? Is it gonna cut you, or like
they had the claw like in a little pouch before that,
right?
They like in this like lessons with the minister or something that they were passing around, and I think that might be where he got it.
Okay, because all of them touched it at one point. Okay,
I think the claw is like possessing these kids to become part of this coven of satanic, people, Satan worshippers or whatever.
Well, yeah, I think anyone who touches it, because later on, some of the adults are also part of this thing, and
2 creepy, really old people. So especially.
Yep.
Anyways, Mark ends up, he's being tricked into playing like with these people. They blindfold him, and he's playing what they call blind man's bluff. And they end up basically killing him while he's blindfolded, because that's what you do,
So with this stuff, I'm not. The movie didn't really explain it. I don't know if it was intentional or if it's just because it was like supposed to be 3 stories wrapped in one. But how do they decide who to sacrifice? And
that's what I was.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because that's what I never understood. They never said like there wasn't like anybody directly like there like Satan wasn't like he was a character at one point, or Satan or Behemoth or whatever they call him. Wasn't like leading them and saying, okay, you're going to have to sacrifice Mark,
right. Or, or whoever else. So I'm just trying to figure out if they just did that on purpose, or just did not have enough time to do it or whatever.
Yeah. So Mark's dead, and he's put into the woodshed at his family's house. What's that?
Yeah. Underneath a bunch of wood too. Like,
yeah, they took time to bury him in the woodshed.
Right.
So then we have a scene where Angel Blake, one of the devil worshipping teens, who is like the kind of main one. She a
good punk.
What's that?
Punk band name, Devil Worshipping Teens.
Yes. That's actually the name of my my primary care facility that I go to.
Wait, your doctor's a bunch of teenagers? Wow. They must be really smart.
That's why they have the witch book.
Yeah, there we go. Wow, like Doogie Howser over here, like
yeah.
Wow.
So they anyways, Angel tries to seduce Reverend Fallowfield, Fallow Field, when so she like just shows up, starts disrobing, and by the way, she was under contract to the studio, and the directors and everybody, the way the contract read, she had to be in this movie.
Wow.
So like and she's known for getting undressed, so they had to have the scene, of course, with her naked. So
cool.
So anyways, she tries to seduce the dude. He doesn't buy into it. Then she tells the Reverend that Mark is dead and that he had the devil in him, so we cut it out. I'm still not understanding all the basis of all this stuff. I don't know if they, wouldn't you want the devil in somebody if you're worshiping? I don't know.
Well, yeah, but she's trying to pretend that that they're the good guys. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So then we have Mark's funeral, and Angel's father speaks to the Squire, accusing the Reverend of attempting to molest his daughter, and possibly killing Mark.
Right. With no proof, no evidence whatsoever. Yeah. They're like, oh, sure.
Well, you got to believe victims. Anyway, so.
Well, true, but you don't just like
you got to investigate too.
Yeah.
So, you check the security cams at the church and, wait.
Yeah, exactly. Like the 1700s church, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So later, Mark's sister Cathy is gathering flowers for his grave when two boys attacked her and then bind her to like some rope under the pretense of playing a game, because everybody's favorite game is tie up the random girl.
I would like run away immediately. Like, no, this is not a fucking game. Like,
I don't know. I never played that game when I was a kid.
no.
So yeah, they attack. They basically attack her, and so Ralph, who's been courting her, basically, he digs her. Hears her screaming, but he can't find her. He digs her, pun intended. But yeah, because he's the guy that dug up the. Anyway, so
I know, terrible.
He screams, but he hears her scream, but he can't find her. Basically the boys had led Cathy to Angel, who marches her in some weird procession with the other children to like this like ruins of an old church, where they perform like a black mass to the demon Behemoth.
Yeah.
Behemoth. I'm sorry, Behemoth.
Well,
Behemoth.
it could
Behemoth.
be York. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a furry beast. It's really. He's a cheesy costume, but anyways,
I
but it was 1970s. That's basically what you're gonna get.
yeah, exactly.
So they rip off her clothing to like show that she has like the fur on her back, and one of the dudes rapes her.
Yeah, like a 2-minute fucking scene. Jesus Christ.
I don't even understand what the point of that was.
Just to be, it's like 70s movies did this shit all the time. They just thought like they had to like be gratuitous.
Yeah.
With like
have you ever
shit.
seen Last House on the Left? I mean, wow. But anyway, so
it's just I don't know, like a lot of those movies would have scenes like these, and it's like, do we really need to have rape scenes in movies? Like, can we like at least just like
any of the ritualistic reasonings behind any of this stuff? That's what I understand. Because at first I thought they were gonna like impregnate her,
right? Like, the Satan seed or whatever, or something like that. Like,
but they rape her and kill her right away. So I was like, okay.
I think it's just supposed to make like how they're involved in evil, like they're just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like evil people rape people, obviously. So that anyways, Ralph ends up finding her body in the ruins there and carries her to the Squire, the dim-witted dumbass. And basically says, I don't think that, he basically tells about Angel and all this other shit and says, yeah, these people are, fucked up, and I don't think that the Reverend is like a bad dude. So
right.
You might want to let him out. But they're unable to arrest Angel because she's vanished.
Yeah.
Dun, dun. And then what happens here?
So they vanish. The judge finally comes back or is talking, I think, to Ralph or someone else, and he's like basically like, okay, like, I believe you now. I've been reading this witchcraft book that my doctor gave me, and he gave me some penicillin, but then he's like,
there's a whole other scene though before that with these guys attempting to drown a girl named Margaret.
Yeah, that's right. They're like, they know that shit's going down, so they're chasing.
And Ralph and Cathy's mom are trying to like help her out, and they have the scene where the doctor cuts off Satan's skin. So yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he does like a binder surgery on her, is able to cut it out, and like there's like not any blood. Like it's just like her behind. Like there's a little bit of redness, but that's about it.
Margaret goes to Angel, and Angel doesn't want her anymore because she doesn't have a piece of the demon's skin. So yeah,
right. She's not useful anymore, and so we have this whole scene then where they're like basically gonna attack Margaret with like these rabid dogs that the judge has brought to the village to like find it, because he has a dog smell like the skin and basically to like track down like any that scent or whatever.
Yeah,
and he basically told Ralph like, hey, like I believe you now, but like we're gonna have to do this my way, and we're gonna like use like extreme measures to like get rid of the problem. So he's like, oh shit's about to go down. The judge. Another thing too about this movie. So the judge is like simultaneously one of the main characters, but he's hardly in the movie at all. Yeah. So it's like, wait, what?
He's like the most well-known actor in the movie too at the time. So it's
like he ends up doing like the final thing in the movie, which is like a huge thing, but he's in like 10 minutes, and
yeah.
it's like, okay, but again, like this movie was supposed to be like 3 separate films or whatever, so it kind of and so he brings his attack dogs, a bunch of people, they're witch hunting. They got people ready to go. Margaret eventually tells them under torture, because they're now they're torturing teenage girls are under a spell. So what they're doing actually.
That was the thing you did in that era, shortly
it's totally.
Where that in Salem, Massachusetts, shit like this was going down too. So yeah,
totally. But it's like you're torturing someone who is literally under an evil spell, and any of their actions actually they're not committing because their brains have been like taken over by something else. But sure, let's this evil has entered. But fine, okay. So she says, they're anywhere hidden in this area. My master's coming, blah, 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 or whatever. She escapes somehow. And then, she goes back to Angel, and Angel's like, fuck this shit. Because she gets them getting caught in a bear trap or some shit. And she's like, hey, Angel, help me out. And she's like, no, I don't care. Just she leaves her trap or whatever. It's all screwed up, bloody and shit. And the dogs are snarling at her. And I'm like, oh, God, these dogs fucking poor girl. I'm going to turn it off. But like, and so Ralph, he's hiding too because he sees like his entire leg is like this, like the devil's skin like really got to him the most for some reason, and so he's like worried that the dogs and the witch hunters are gonna find him, and he hears this knock door, and he's like, oh shit, they're after me. It turns out it's the witch people that have found him, and they want to take him to do the final ritual, because basically what they're doing is that they're cutting out skin because they're trying to collect it all, and for some reason that's gonna then bring this to life. For some reason, I'm not sure why that's the thing that you need to do. Like, why would you need to grow skin on a human body, cut it out, and then give it to some beast that's gonna like give it its final form? Like, I don't understand what that would. Okay, and then so they're like, oh shit, man, about to kill Ralph. Terrible, he's the one that found the thing in the first place. But then the judge shows up at the nick of time. He's got corralling all the witches because they're like on both sides. I think they killed Angel right away and stabbed her. And then the judge pierces. Honestly, it looks like a piñata. Like, I mean, that's what it looked like. And, like, I mean. That was supposed to be Behemoth, some like teddy bear looking motherfucker in the piñata type of thing, and then he stabs it for some reason. Like the Behemoth thing's like way up in the air as the judge. And I'm like, wow, that's got strong arms right there. If he's able to like hold up it, up in the air as he's stabbing him, like, just I didn't know this judge was that strong, but damn.
The fact is that he was like one of the original wrestlers in the WWE. People don't know that the WWE originally stood for witches with earaches, and
yes, that's what it was. And then he kills them in this weird slow motion thing, of course. Old 70s slow motion was so weird. And then like basically it just like collapses into like nothing, like the spirit is gone from the body now, I guess, or something. So Behemoth wasn't really killed, but now he doesn't have, basically like a Voldemort shit right there. And like the Horcrux, didn't work, and so the body spirit out of nowhere, and everyone is like lifted from their spell that was on them for like weeks probably, and everything was great now. Everyone's alive. Well, the people that survived are alive. The murder victim, but yay!
And everybody lived a happy life after that. And
I doubt it, because the judge looked really weird, because they did a freeze frame on the judge's face, and then they rolled credits right after he killed.
So they changed the ending of this movie based from the original script.
Okay.
So it was mandated by the studio. They had to redraft of the ending, which originally had the judge enlisting a militia to murder the entire village to eradicate the cult.
Whoa.
So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they thought that the ending was too bleak, and it was replaced with a finale in which the demon is defeated and the villagers are spared. So yeah, he was just going to kill everybody, which, I mean,
that makes more sense. He's talking about, yeah.
Well, it's the Israeli way of doing things.
Yep. Yep.
You kill everyone because, human shields and whatnot. Anyway, so
sure.
Yep. So anywho, any other thoughts about this film before we wrap things up?
No, not really. It was okay. It was not my favorite, but it was all right.
Yeah, I mean, one other bit of trivia here from the movie is that they originally wanted either Christopher Lee or or Peter Cushing, both who were like pretty popular at the time in the like Hammer horror films, playing like Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster and Dracula and stuff like that. Possibly to be the judge, but they were too expensive. And
Yeah.
they also considered Donald Pleasance, who people know from the original Halloween movies, as Dr. Loomis in those, and Michael Gow, who Americans probably know better as Alfred in the Tim Burton Batman movies. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Those all were considered before Patrick Wymark as the judge, but Patrick Wymark was pretty popular at the time too, but he wasn't, as expensive. So yeah. So yeah, it would have been interesting to see like, Peter Cushing as the, Peter Cushing people may also know as Grand Moff Tarkin from Star Wars. So yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
The Patrick dude, he reminded me of, I don't know if I've seen him in other things, or maybe he just looks a little bit like what's the dude that was in Hannibal Lecter a little bit? I mean, not in Hannibal, the Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He does a little bit like him.
He does look a little bit like him, yeah.
I knew it wasn't him. I knew he wouldn't be in a movie like this, though.
I mean, he might have, but I think he was pretty young at the time too, so kind of young at the time. Yeah. So, yeah, it was interesting. I enjoyed the movie. And speaking of like Peter Cushing and stuff, if you haven't seen the Frankenstein movies with him in it as Dr. Frankenstein, I highly recommend them. They're so good. Made around the same era, but they're so good. The probably my favorite adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is the one with him and him as Dr. Frankenstein and Christopher Lee as the monster. So yeah. Anyways, folks, just do me a favor. If you can start your own cult of All2ReelToo listeners. The way to do that is to go to our Patreon and join. There's a lot of good things you can get in return. I promise that you won't grow fur on your skin if you join, though.
Yeah. And unfortunately, there will be no Satan's Claw, though, because of issues. But
yeah, we tried sending them in the mail before, but they never arrived, and a lot of mailmen died.
Yeah, it was really sad. They did like really weird things, and then they just went up and died. So,
How are you feeling, though? Do you still need to go to the ER or something for your...
No, I think I'm doing good. I think the spell has been reversed in the movie, and then in real life, it also reversed in me, even though the movie came out in 1971.
Are you sure you didn't just like take a Gillette razor and like shave the fur off of your skin?
Not while we were talking, no.
Okay, I'm just making sure. So
yeah, no problem.
Or any other kind of razor, if like Harry's or Dollar Shave Club would like to sponsor our podcast, we'd be more than happy to let you.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh. Anywho, just be sure to check out all of our stuff at all2reeltoo.com. It's the best way to support us. There's lots of links to all of our social media and everything. Just share the show with your friends. In all seriousness, also check out our charities that we have listed in our show notes. You can donate to those. There's a lot of good charities that can help people. I don't think there's anything in there that'll help people that are infected by the devil's claw, but better things that are more realistic you can help people with, such as the kids suffering in Palestine, also, and things to help people out with alcoholism and suicide prevention, a bunch of different things that I've added from time to time on there. I don't even remember all the charities, but check them out. They're all good. If you find any issues with any of them that we have, be sure to message me at mike@cullenpark.com, and I'll look into it and take them down if they turn out to be some kind of scam or fraud. But I pretty well vetted these, and I think they're good charities. So until next time, folks, just remember this, that I love you. Behemoth loves you. Behemoth, however you pronounce it. Sesame loves you. Free Palestine. Trans lives are human lives. And until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All2ReelToo podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.